Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Soul Survivors of Chicago Breaking the Silence show. We're here today, and we're going to be talking about a great subject, When Life Be Lifin. And I have my special guest with me, Miss Valorie Wright, my sister from another mother.
Hello. Okay? Yes.
We promise today's show is going to be awesome, y'all, because we're talking about a topic that comes around often, just when life be lifing.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the person that would best be able to describe and tell us and share is Valorie. So I'm going to let her introduce herself. But before we do that, Valorie is a dean at the Chicago Public Schools in the Chicago Public School system.
Yes.
And Valorie has joined us. And so with that being said, I want to thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, you are so welcome. I am so honored to be here today. Yes, I'm excited about this.
I know, me too, right?
Yeah, love talking about life when life be lifing.
And that's true, because you've experienced a lot of things like many of us when it comes to life and when life be lifing. And with May coming up, we put a lot of emphasis because it's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes.
I want to tap in on that and what your expertise will tell us about what to do in those situations when life hits us with certain things and we need to adjust.
Yes.
But before I begin, tell us about you and where you're from, a little bit about your family.
Yes. I'm from Chicago,
Okay.
Born and raised, low-end product. I've been working and servicing residents of Chicago for over 25 years. I have pretty much dedicated my life to improving our communities, improving our families, and my resume has never changed. My job is to improve the quality of life of others, and I truly just believe in that. Just because people are where they are doesn't mean that's where they want to stay. Mm-hmm. And that people are a blessing. We are the blessing for other people, and so if I could be a blessing for someone else, I would rather do that than to be selfish with thinking that my life is all together and I got everything. I don't. But I know that if I give my energy and all to others, that it helps me sleep at night. It helps me, know that I am contributing to making the lives of others better and improving the quality.
Wow. I like that. So what keeps you motivated? Like with all the things you go through in the Chicago public school system, and what you've seen and what you deal with, what keeps you motivated to go every day and face the challenges that come across when life be lifing?
I'm a true believer that I'm here on assignment, and when I'm sent somewhere, that's where I'm supposed to go. Mm-hmm. And I was sent 3 years ago to CPS, Chicago Public Schools, and so that's my new assignment.
Okay.
So I look at it as the Creator has given me this this awesome gift to love with unconditionally, to love with no judgment, and I feel that that's something I give my students, and they give it back to me.
Wow! So it's reciprocal.
Mm-hmm.
You get it back.
Yes.
Okay. So when you think about reciprocality and kind of getting that back, what would you give advice to for parents and those who are out there who are trying to do the same thing, to kind of live a life where when you give something, you get it back? I mean, what are kind of some things that you learned in doing that, or what advice would you give to someone who's trying to live a life like that?
My advice would be to be good to yourself, to not rush, and not put the pressure on you to be perfect, because we're not perfect. And all it takes is understanding. Mm-hmm. All it takes is for you to be open-minded and to love humanity. Like when I was in undergrad, I knew that I was a humanitarian because I care so much about humanity that I want to give that back. I want to give that gift, that compassion and passion that I have for it. I want to give it to the world. So if you think you are someone who that has that gift, don't be afraid of it. Be proud of it. You know, be proud that you cry when something happens. Be proud that you could feel somebody else's emotion. That is a gift.
Yeah.
It's a true gift, and not everybody is born and made of that.
Yeah, that's like emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Very much so. Very much so. And that's the most important. EQ is more important than IQ.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that I put an emphasis on it when I'm working with my students is how do you feel? How do you what are you thinking about that? You know, like before you think, how do you feel? Because we often go to what we think, not how we feel.
Yeah.
And your feelings is what really tell you what's going on. It's your innate posture of knowing, hey, it's something not right with this. Like I tell my students, if you go somewhere and you feel something not right, that's because it's not. And it's okay for you to go home. It's okay for you to leave. Trust your gut.
Wow. Yeah. So essentially, being able to talk about feelings versus thoughts and approaching it that way, you get a better response, a better understanding coming from where the person is. Because we do often go different ways. Some people will answer questions that have to do with thoughts. Some people will be able to answer questions that have to do with feelings. So that's really important to know. Yeah.
It is. But it also taps into their self-awareness. You know, really starting to plant those seeds of self-awareness, because a lot of our students, they don't know that you need to go on this self-discovery stage, that you need to find out who you are. And at this moment, that's where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be making mistakes. You're supposed to be trying to figure some things out. You are where you're supposed to be. You know, and you're not a mess up. You're not a screw up. You okay. You're right where you're supposed to be.
So you're dropping some nuggets. I swear, everybody take some pen and paper and write these things down, because I am, in my mind, writing some things. But what advice would you give, or what's the best advice, let me ask that you've been given in your lifetime? If you think about all the things that's been told to you, what would something that you live by be coined as like the best advice you ever got?
When it comes to
working with children, your life, those kind of things.
That every day you evolve. You're not the same person you was yesterday. Every day you get a chance to do something different, to do it over, to you know, that we're gifted with grace and mercy. Every day we wake up. And so my advice is to, you know, see the trees waving, see the grass that's beautiful and green, like recognize the things that man can't make. You know, the unexplainable. Recognize all the beauty that in the miracles that we see every day right in front of us. Don't take those things for granted, because we often overlook them. We often, you know, see grass and no, that grass is doing some things, okay? Producing some oxygen. The trees are waving and thanking God, and we too have to do those things. So
I like that. That's one to live by, y'all. That was really good. Yeah, that's true. You spoke about, you know, kind of the challenges of working with the kids and the emotional things that you go through. But what keeps you up at night when you think about working in the school system and working with the kids and what you deal with? Is there something that keeps you up at night?
I can't say. I am grateful that I don't have that burden of carrying my work home. I'm able to kind of leave it there. The only thing that bothers me is when I lose a student to something senseless. When I I've lost students that I was very close to, and that has hurt me. That has broken my heart. So those are the things that make me, you know, kind of stop. Pause, because their life is worth remembering. Their lives are worth whatever time they had on this planet, whatever they were supposed to do. And sometimes I think, were they supposed to come here to love me? And I cannot overlook that, because if that was their job, I want to make sure that they know their job was done. And I received it. And I'm grateful.
Yeah, it's really heartbreaking to lose a child And we talk a lot about it in the show, and we'll continue to speak on that when you lose a child and what we can do in the next couple of episodes that we have. But thanks for sharing that. That was really powerful. You told me something once, and I never forgot it. And in fact, I made a T-shirt out of it and put her name underneath it. And she said to me once, and just very much just talking in, conversation, that my mental health is non-negotiable. Mm-hmm. And ever since you said that, I was like, it just hit me because it's so true. Mm-hmm. And since that time, I've never told you that I live by that mantra. I truly, honestly believe that it's non-negotiable. There was a time all of us have had where we had to compromise our feelings for something else. Mm-hmm. But now that I understand the importance of it, it has changed my life. Tell me a little bit about how you got to that place with being non-negotiable with your mental health.
So I am a parent of sexual abuse. Like, one of my children was sexually abused. And during the time that I found out about it, I had lost my mind. I really had a billion thoughts in my head at one time. And I remember calling my sister, and I said, Jay, I cannot get it together. I have a billion thoughts in my head, and I feel like I'm losing and like I'm breaking. And she said, well, if that happens, who's to say you're going to come back? And I said, what? But she hit me where it needed to be hit, and she was right. Like, there's no guarantee that if I have a breakdown or that I have a manic, episode, that I'm going to come back 100%, and so that made me start to go on a path of, slowing down. What do you need? Making sure that I'm not hard on myself. Making sure that I and I had to learn this over time, but I had to make sure that girl, that young Valorie, did, that she knew that I'm proud of her, that she did the best that she could with what she had. And it was okay. It wasn't her fault. It wasn't her kid's fault. You're supposed to be able to love and trust people. And of course, you find out that some people have a hidden agenda, that they're going to do something. If it wasn't you, it would have been somebody else. Mm-hmm. So that was my start of making sure that I had a balance. And I didn't know at the time that I would find people that I knew I could trust and confide in. And Maxie was one of them. She was one person that when we were working together, that for a moment she was my therapist. We would have our little sessions, we would talk, and I don't think you realize how much you carried me during that time, because it wasn't that far. Like, working with you during that time, it had only been a few years after things had happened. So you carried me for some time, and you gave me some things that you kept putting gas in my car, you kept giving me, that hope and that support that I needed to say, you know what, I got this, you helped me have more confidence in me, in who I was. You kind of helped me see, like, mirrored myself.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate that. Yeah, you've done the same for me as well. You have done. This is, like I said, my sister from another mother, y'all.
And we in the struggle together.
Yeah. You mentioned something I was going to ask you, so it's just right on time. And when I think about the things you talked about with change and it being inevitable, that all things must change to a different time. Now that you've come from that space and now that you're here, what would you tell your younger self if you could? You did speak on some things, but we've all had that conversation. We saw that picture of ourselves when we were 21 or 19 or even 30-something or even 12. and we see what we had and what we were doing.
Yeah.
And now that we've grown and we've gone through that experience, we have things we would give advice to. What would you give yourself advice to?
Man, so I have sat with my younger self before. I've done this not a lot, but it was important. I was crossing over the 50, so yeah, I've crossed over. So I was crossing over the 50. I was crossing over, and my adult children, they brought up some things that happened to me that they witnessed, and that it hurt me that they had those memories and that they had witnessed those things about my own abuse that I had went through, and it kind of messed me up because they were like they wanted answers. And I kept telling them, look, I said, hey, you're not gonna push me in spaces I don't want to be in.
Right.
And so I left them. They're like, yeah, let's leave it. But I had to do that for me.
Okay.
But a week or two later, I truly sat down with that younger Valorie, and I told her, you were beautiful, you were limited on what you knew, and you did the best you could with what you had. But look at you right now.
Yeah.
Look at who you are right now. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
So I had to give her some homage and release her of shame and guilt and things that I felt like I invited somebody into my home to do things to my kids, and that wasn't the case, and I had to tell myself that, those negative self-thought, I had to replace that. I had to make sure that inner person who still kind of suffers sometimes, that she know I got her. I got you.
I love that. I love that. And with that, so survivors, what we're doing is continuing to bring that message about loving yourself and being able to know that you got this and we got the supports out there.
Yes.
And we want to make sure to let the audience know that May 4th, we're having what we're calling our first pop-up community event. And as the flyer shows, what we're going to do is be in the community and in 2-hour slots go to the barbershop, the beauty salon, the laundromat, the front of the liquor stores, and pass out mental health and wellness stuff.
Yes.
And so we're popping into these communities and these deserts that we have where the resources are low, and be present and talk about this and hopefully to engage.
Yes. You'd be amazed at who needs the services or who just needs to know, hey, I had somebody that passed, or I know somebody, or I'm still suffering.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time we just suppress, we just push down, and we push forward. We as a people
are good at struggling.
We are good. Oh,
very good at struggling.
We beasts. When it comes to struggling, we know that.
We know how to do it.
But I had to also tell myself, you're not supposed to struggle like this. Your life not supposed to be this hard.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, we have been conditioned to live a life that's hard. But our life's not supposed to be hard. And we can change that. Even if we don't change it within our cycle, we can change it for our kids. When I heal myself, I heal generations and generations of my seeds that's to come. So it's very important to me that I continue on my healing journey all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's true. Being able to be in tune with yourself. I call it the self-inventory. Going inside, looking at the books on your shelf and saying which one goes on, which comes off, which I need to add, what I need to replace, what do I need to read again.
Yes.
Those kind of things. And what is some advice, while we continue to wrap up, that you would give to a parent who's out there when it comes to truly and honestly, like you're saying, being able to live a life that isn't hard? Like, what kind of steps would they need to do, or what would you guide them to do if you could, summarize it? Hard things.
Taking an inventory of your hurt.
Okay. I like that.
Because some things you can't fix, that you just have to come to an agreement about. Yep, this happened to me. Yeah, my you know, sometimes I see a lot of adults who struggle with the relationships they had with their parents. And that some parents don't go back and say, well, I apologize for that. Or sometimes you just have to have a resolve within yourself about it so that you can move on, you know, and be okay with it. Not say it was right or wrong, but say that this is what happened to me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I acknowledge it. And I'm validating myself because I deserve that.
Yeah.
You know, we all seek validation.
Yeah.
I was hurt. They abandoned me. They neglected me. You know, sometimes it's just that acknowledgement. But evaluating your hurt, seeing what you can do and what you can't do, and then doing things that make you happy. You know, playing music, if that's what makes you happy. Your success lies in how you define your success. Nobody can define that for you.
Yeah.
If I want to be a rice roller, whatever that is, one to roll sushi, if that's my goal, the dream, I'm going to be the best rice roller that I want to be. You know? You define your own success. Nobody can come and say, you're not successful because you're a stay-at-home mom. But if I'm doing it to the best of my ability, with all the love that I have within me, and it makes me happy, then I'm successful.
Yeah. Wow. Whew. This was good, y'all. So
Coming back, y'all.
Yeah, coming back. So before we close out the show, I want to first thank Val for coming on and thanking everybody else for joining us again.
Yes.
And we're going to close out with this thing called Words to Live By. So I'm going to speak a sentence and Val's going to end it with what she feels would be best appropriate to end it.
Okay.
What I know for sure is...
What I know for sure is love is available every day. Every day, love is available. Sometimes we just don't recognize the love that's presented right in front. We want to say what love looks like. But if you just look and say, what love is available for me, it's right there in front of you.
Okay. Never rush.
Never rush your grief or your healing. Never rush it.
Never
You
rush.
are not on anybody's timeline. If they don't understand what you're going through and what you need, make sure you understand what you're going through and what you need so that you can put boundaries in place for those that don't. And you set your boundaries and you give yourself what you need.
I like that. I am
a beautiful creation. I just told my students the day I was born that the animals in Africa was roaring and the elephants were here. I told them the stars aligned and the moon had shined brighter, and they was like, "D-Right, you're really you really pushing." I said, "I'm just telling you how special I am to this planet."
Yeah.
You know, that I am one of God's creations, and just like the tree, I give him all the praise, and I'm so grateful of life.
Okay. I love that. Last question. One thing I know for sure.
One thing I know for sure, that there will always be another sun. Every day we get a new sun, we get another sun, you get another chance to be great, you get another chance to repair relationships, you get another chance to say, I love you, my sister, I love you so much.
Yes.
Right on national TV, I love you.
I love you too. Thank you.
You're
Thank you
so
for
welcome.
that. And thank you all for joining us today, Soul Survivors of Chicago, Breaking the Silence. We're doing it one show at a time. Join us next week, Thursday, 6 p.m. here on CAN TV, Channel 21. Once again, I want to thank my guest, Valorie Wright with Chicago Public Schools. Her smile is beautiful. Her spirit is more contagious than anything I've ever been around, and I'm just so grateful for her. So with that being said, we'll see you all later.
Bye, guys.
Take care. Bye.